Deep in the midst of a remote forest, the inhabitants of this village have given up on many of modern civilization's perks. Anyone can come here, but only those who pass the tests presented by the village's unique lifestyle can stay. The settlement is filled with families, but not in the traditional sense. They have to earn the right to be called mother, father, son, or daughter. Anton Nabiulin is just 13 years old, but already he hates talking about his past. His mother and father were declared unfit to care for him, and the state sent Anton to an orphanage. From there, he came to the village of Kitezh.
Foster families live here in the village. It's a very interesting place. The children come here as campers to start, and they can stay longer if they're invited.
Maria is Anton's foster mother. A short time ago, she gave birth to a boy named Lubomir. She now has 4 children in her family, 3 of whom she's fostering. Usually, a newcomer takes 2 years to adapt to their new family. There's a brief honeymoon period when foster children are generally obedient. They behave for fear of being sent back to the orphanage. But later, they begin testing the limits of what is permissible. This is the most testing time for their adoptive parents.
When Anton had just turned 13, he behaved like an 8 or 9-year-old boy. He was mischievous, cried and sulked. In short, his behavior was not typical of a 13-year-old boy. It was a difficult phase. We had to devote too much attention to him at the expense of the other 3 children.
Mikhail is Anton's foster father. He used to work at an international oil company. His life followed a usual pattern from year to year. Work, home, fitness club, vacation in a foreign country. But then Mikhail felt an urge to break from the routine. When he got wind of Kitezh, he saw the chance to make a difference for himself and for others. He quit his job and came here to be a teacher. It was here that Mikhail met Maria.
Children often behave a bit like savages here. They just don't know what to make of their new fathers and mothers. The child's real mother would beat him up, and his real father would booze for weeks on end. That's all he ever saw in his life. We must show them something different, something that will erase those painful memories. Shall I pour it out?
Kitezh families prepare the orphans for their adult life. Foster parents teach them to earn money and deal with conflict. Children here are educated through work in the community.
Our purpose is to elevate the children's cultural level.
The 6 families that live in Kitezh on a permanent basis have 20 foster children in total. Anyone wanting to foster a child has to go through a probation period. Some give up after only a couple of days. Others stay here for the rest of their lives. All of the community's adults decide on whether a newcomer will be allowed to stay and live there.
Oops, he sneaked into a hole.
Lying, cursing, and emotional outbursts are not allowed among the adults. They're not supposed to say, "I'm fed up with those idiots." They're not supposed to say, "My house is my castle." We have no use for that saying. On the contrary, we point out to them that they live in a community. We ask them to talk about their problems, and we try to help them deal with them. We also tell them they have no right to conceal the children's behavior.
As a young man, Dmitry Morozov worked as a teacher at children's summer camps, where each year children from orphanages spent 3 months. It was there that Dmitry first played with the idea of bringing them together with aspiring professional foster parents.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
What are you doing?
We're taking sawdust to the construction site.
Dmitry eventually became a journalist, but never abandoned his dream. In 1993, he quit his job and built the village of Kitezh with a group of friends. There are always volunteers in Kitezh. They're willing to do pretty much anything they're asked. Most of the volunteers are college students from the United States, England, Scotland and France.
I've taken 1 year in university, so...
64-year-old Richard Brockbank is a skilled carpenter who came to Kitezh from Scotland. In the village, Richard makes benches, carves things out of wood and teaches the children woodwork. Anton is one of his favorite pupils.
Okay, this one. Careful.
I first met him last year, very soon after he arrived at Kitezh. He had no English then. He's now got a lot more English, so we've got much better communication. And then he was showing a lot of practical skills, and they're still here with him, and it's really good to have his understanding of the process and what's needed, what's involved.
Everything in the village has been built by its inhabitants. A recent addition is a gas supply system, a new bathroom with a toilet and a gas water heater. Sergei Zhiravlyov is a Kitezh graduate. He grew up with one of the foster families in the village. As a child, he dreamt of living the high life in a big city. Sergei left local school with good grades and went on to do military service. In Moscow, he trained to be an electrician, but finally he returned to Kitezh to work.
I wasn't thinking of staying in Kitezh. I thought I'd find a job in Kaluga or in Moscow. But when I was already in 10th grade, I decided to stay in Kitezh after all. I like it here. I grew up in Kitezh. I'd say it's my second home.
Guests often come to Kitezh. Sergei always meets them in the nearest village. There's no public transport to their final destination.
We're on our way to Baryatina. It's the village where I lived before I came to Kitezh. We'll just have a look around, and I'll show you where my apartment is. It's just a place. I don't feel an emotional connection to it. Nothing.
Sergei's parents divorced, and later his mother passed away. Some of his relatives are alcoholics. Sergei is not in contact with them. He rents out the apartment that he used to share with his mother and father and left his native village 15 years ago. Life there has changed little since.
My memories of that time are faint, without any real emotion. Here's the ground floor where I lived. What kind of life was it? I don't really have an answer for that.
Kitezh foster parents don't expect high praise for their work. Tamara is something of a village legend. She spent a long time working as a volunteer. She came to Kitezh after her husband divorced her, leaving her to care for their 4 children. She needed breathing space to get over her personal tragedy, but also wanted her children to get an education in the community. Eventually, she decided to stay for good. Tamara's raised 7 foster children, as well as her own. She has the largest family in Kitezh.
We have to make a little bit go a long way here. Things have to last. This is a big family, you see, so we need to make sure that the younger children get things from the older ones in good shape.
At 8 years old, Maxim is the youngest foster son in Tamara's family. He's doing house chores as compensation for bad behavior. Here they insist on the word compensation being used instead of the term punishment. Maxim argued with a girl and hit her very hard. His mother told him he was not to go out for 2 days and has to clean the house instead.
Maxim, Katyusha and I were away yesterday, and when we came back I was told that you had hit a girl. Is that true? Why did you do it?
She started it.
Come over here. Sit down for a moment. I'd like to talk to you. Was it painful, do you think?
Yeah.
It pains me too.
Some children from Scotland are staying at Tamara's house. They're visiting friends in Kitezh. In the evenings, they get together over tea.
She swapped my tea without me realizing.
Tamara's foster children now have no difficulty chatting in English, but their mother recalls that some time ago they would even refuse to talk to anybody. They were a pretty shy bunch. They even refused to eat meat because they'd never tasted it before. All they ate was bread.
They threw chunks of meat under the table. They knew it couldn't go in the trash because the adults would see and get angry. At the orphanage, they just learned to throw food on the ground and trample it. They only ate bread and tea. Sometimes they agreed to have stewed fruit. They always stuffed their pockets with bread, and they were aggressive too. They beat each other. Even the girls fought with each other, and they cursed.
Tamara patiently explained to the foster children that stealing was forbidden and cursing wasn't nice. Her own children helped to teach them good manners too.
This is my daughter Maria. She lives in Oron, and this picture was taken in Oron.
Oron is the name of another village for foster children, founded by Maria Shibayeva. Her idea is to turn it into an international scientific center. The project's aim is to teach adults how to raise their own children and foster children properly.
Do you want to get a fuller picture? Don't miss it on RT and our website. They have no country of their own. Their language is believed to be dead. Leaders of this nation are persecuted, but they believe their voice will be heard and recognized. The Rusins on RT.
The Oron community is 250 kilometers from Kitezh. The village was founded by Maria Shibayeva, who is studying to be a psychologist. She uses every opportunity to build herself a new life here.
Hi. How's life?
Just fine.
At just 24, Maria is also president of the Oron village. It's a position that carries far more responsibility than privilege. She manages the community's budget, negotiates with sponsors, teaches at the local school, and supervises construction.
This is our notice board. It reflects our life here. So, what's in the plans? Time to make money. Okay, now we're going to build a new house for ourselves. We're going to pick wild strawberries and lay the foundation for a fence. That's all for today.
Maria grew up in Kitezh alongside the foster children. She's always been around children who have a history of being abused, mistreated, and neglected by their parents. When she was still at school, she resolved to help them by creating a community for them. Maria already has 4 foster children, 2 girls and 2 boys, including Ruslan, who's happily working on a new house for the families.
Hi, kid. How's life?
It's fine.
A new house is built in Oron each year, but this village won't only be for foster children. It also welcomes those who want to know how to properly raise fostered or their own children, a difficult job in itself.
This research center will develop programs drawing on the experience gained from work with foster children and families in Kitezh. They will be targeted not only at foster families, but also at regular families having difficulties with their children.
A psychologist is always the first to greet new foster children both in Kitezh and Oron. 8-year-old Dima was at an orphanage only a month ago. The process of adapting to his new environment has been a difficult journey for him. Dima is closed off and withdrawn, and the psychologist needs to make him feel at ease and open up to communicate. This behavioral training is called Let's Design Our Own House.
So here there'll be a hump, and there'll be swings.
Swings on the roof?
No, behind the house.
Dima draws part of the picture without help. He's trying to find his place in this new world.
I'm helping him to join in and get involved, as he's not yet a part of the group. You can already see the result. Before you came, he was sitting in a corner. He refused to go through the training exercise.
The children enjoy the playful training. Part of it is called What I Like About You. This simple and effective exercise helps promote trust and sympathy among the children.
Nastya, what I like about you today is that you're in a happy mood.
What I like about you is that you've painted my arms.
Dima, what I like about you is that you don't whimper anymore.
Vera, what I like about you today is that you're beautiful.
Tackling fear is among the most important aspects of the training. Children from group homes or orphanages often cannot cope with their emotions. In this exercise, they use pillows to build their fears and then destroy them. After class, the children get to work. They also get paid for it. Children in Oron learn the meaning of money and how to earn it and spend it. The local currency is called the ori.
After work, these children take their oris to a restaurant where other children make good food for them. Everyone can spend as much money as they've earned. If somebody slacks on the job, they get boiled buckwheat instead of fish or a meat pie. That's how it is in real life, isn't it?
Oris are only accepted in this village. By playing with money, the children prepare themselves for a life outside Kitezh. There are several ways to earn their cash. The children even get paid if they learn to recite verse.
Do you like it? You might as well learn it by heart.
It's too long.
The kitchen is always a good place to earn a little money, since they always need helping hands. The community president, Maria Shibayeva, shows them how to make salads and gives her opinion on the food they cook.
This isn't a typical fridge. We call it a therapeutic fridge. That's because it's transparent and the children can see with their own eyes that they'll have something to eat.
1 hour of any kind of work earns 80 oris. If a child can't complete the job, they get less money. Sviatoslav and Petya have worked hard and managed to amass quite a handsome sum of cash.
Hey, men, well done. Here's your pay. Petya has earned 80 oris. 80 oris.
80?
The children usually spend the money they earn in the canteen, but to them it feels like a fancy restaurant.
I would like it all, please. With fruit punch.
The waiters are always pleased to see their customers. After all, they get their well-earned oris from them.
Bon appetit.
Thanks.
What should I pour first?
After lunch, Maria Shibayeva's foster children get together over tea to discuss their plans for the coming week.
Okay, let's have some tea. You know, children, this is one of the few tea parties we're going to have before all of us meet again in a couple of weeks. Do you think we'll change between now and then? If so, what sort of change will it be?
Orion's foster children are about to go to Kitezh to take part in some international role-playing. Team building is the name of the game. It's based on Slavonic tribal legends. Children from Kitezh, Orion and their friends from Scotland take part. Before coming here on their first visit, the Scots had exchanged letters with their Russian friends. The game's first round is a talent show. One of the most exciting moments of the game. Tatar nomads attack the Slavonic tribes. In accordance with the script, the children defend a wooden idol, the tribe's most treasured possession. The volunteers play the attackers.
You didn't expect us, did you? Your idol's gone.
And now you're slaves.
In the morning, the children unload provisions. Once a fortnight, they're bought at a discount wholesale store. The community constantly economizes. Foster parents get $4,500 per child per year from the government. The sum barely covers the cost of the food that the child needs. Therefore, sponsors shoulder the cost of the housing construction as well as their clothes, education and medical care.
During summer camp season, even more food is bought to cater to all the additional children.
They serve 3 meals a day in Kitezh, and all of the community's inhabitants dine in the cafeteria. The kitchen puts out only soup and a second course.
Spread it out in equal parts.
The families make cookies and pies at home. Today's menu includes pea soup, vermicelli soup, stewed vegetables and pilaf. Pilaf with raisins is for the vegetarians.
Anyone can enter the kitchen anytime, children and adults alike. They help me if I need help. That's how things are run here. It's our home. It's not like a children's home. We live as a family.
On a normal day, 50 people come for lunch in Kitezh, but today the chef needs help. She has to provide food for 90 people, 50 locals and 40 guests from Scotland. Those on duty wash the dishes after the guests leave the dining room. That's where Vasily Burdin comes along. He was brought up in the family of the community's founder, Dmitry Morozov. Each summer, Vasily comes to Kitezh on vacation.
Whenever I visit Kitezh, I play the piano. As soon as I arrive, I go straight to this piano and play it as long as there is nobody around. I find it very relaxing after a day of hard work. I really need relaxation, so I play the piano and I feel good.
Vasily rents an apartment in Moscow where he's attending college. He's already found employment at a prestigious law firm. When he stays in Kitezh, he's only too willing to take on the most difficult tasks. Hard work is a habit he learned at Kitezh.
Everybody should be constantly developing, which means working. That's how I feel now. But when I was younger, with my friends, I had heated arguments about it. And even got offended.
The education system in Kitezh has helped Vasily and many other Kitezh graduates build successful careers. Vasily learned how to make money. His successful career has wiped out the memories of his childhood hardships. The carpenter Richard Brockbank has made a design depicting the reason for Kitezh, raising well-rounded people ready to live in the modern world.
It starts with a flower and then it prepares for being the bud as it goes higher. And then right up at the top, it opens up. It's the soul of the child is finally opened up. And the idea of the sun is, but plants need the sun, and to me the sun is a source of love, which was why I gave it a heart shape.
There is another newcomer to Tamara Pichugina's large family. She's decided to accept yet another girl as a foster child.
Hi, daughter.
Hello.
What have you been doing?
Drawing.
Katya is 7 years old. She stayed for a week with Tamara 3 months ago. After that, she said she wanted to stay for longer. Katya's life has undergone a significant change. She now has a home, a wardrobe, and a bed. But like many orphans, it will take her a long time to realize that this is actually her family, just as other children have elsewhere.
When I came here, it was like a fairy tale. Fairy tale. Because the place is very beautiful. I now have good friends. Somehow I've got used to life here. I don't want to go away.
Many children coming to Kitezh from a children's home feel like heroes. Fairy tale heroes capable of confronting any of life's problems with the help of wise instructors. And, just like a fairy story, for these once neglected children, nothing is now impossible.